Hello, lovers of the diamond and pure baseball. Today I need to know, do you truly understand the word crisis or what it is like to watch a championship dynasty crumble? Do you know the price of redemption on the sport's most unforgiving stage? Pay attention, because the Atlanta Braves didn't just lose a season, they imploded spectacularly. And now, the organization is desperate, totally willing to pay whatever it takes to erase the trauma of 76 and 86, the stain of missing the postseason for the first time in 7 long years. This isn't a typical free agent market. It's a prestige rescue operation, and the behind-the-scenes movements are accelerating at a breakneck pace that even the most skeptical fan must pause to breathe. They just brought in Walt Weiss to command the dugout, attempting to stabilize the tactical chaos that marked the year. But let's be frank, a new manager isn't enough to offset the hole that has opened up in the heart of this lineup. The real earthquake, the tremor that could redefine the balance of power across the entire National League, is focused on one name that has just become the market's most explosive free agent. Prepare yourself, because the Braves are plotting a massive coup. The target? An MVP, a World Series champion, an elite defensive outfielder who just opted out of his multi-million-dollar contract, throwing his entire left-handed hitting power, which Atlanta desperately needs to alleviate the burden on Ronald Acuna Jr. onto the market. We are talking about an asset valued at $80 million in pure talent. We are talking about the hunt for Cody Bellinger. The Major League Baseball offseason began not with a whisper, but with a deafening bang in Atlanta. The baseball capital of the American South, once synonymous with a ruthless dynasty in the National League East, now deals with the silenced echo of an October that didn't happen. For the first time in 7 years, the Braves missed the playoff party, and the final record of 76 wins and 86 losses is a marker of shame that the organization is desperate to erase. This is not the Atlanta we know, the juggernaut that had a permanent spot reserved for the postseason. This is a team in crisis, in need of an urgent transfusion of talent. The diagnosis is clear: inconsistency on the mound, an over-reliance on an overburdened Ronald Acuna Jr., and roster depth that simply crumbled under the pressure of injuries. The first and most immediate response from the front office, led by General Manager Alex Anthopoulos, was a change in command. The official announcement of Walt Weiss's hiring as the new skipper is the first major pivot of this urgent offseason. Weiss, who was already the team's bench coach, represents a bet on continuity of the franchise's DNA, but with a necessary new voice for the clubhouse. ESPN, via Jeff Passan, has already highlighted the hope for a turnaround, but Weiss's track record is a red flag that cannot be ignored. His .283.365 record with the Colorado Rockies between 2013 and 2016 raises legitimate questions about his ability to lead a team with World Series aspirations. He never finished higher than 3rd place in Denver. However, the talent he inherits in Atlanta is infinitely superior to what he had in the Rockies. He takes over a roster with established stars and needs to be the catalyst that transforms frustration into focus. Weiss's appointment is ultimately an internal move that frees the general manager to focus on what will truly decide the fate of 2026, the acquisition of elite talent on the market. And this is where the buzz turns into a hurricane. The name dominating the Atlanta hot stove is Cody Bellinger, the former NL MVP and World Series champion, a proven caliber slugger who recently exercised his opt-out clause, leaving the New York Yankees behind and entering the market as the most coveted asset among left-handed hitters. This is not empty speculation. Bellinger, valued at around $80 million for a long-term contract, represents the domino piece that Anthopoulos needs to overhaul the outfield and, more crucially, inject power and balance into the lineup. What Bellinger brings to the negotiating table is not just a powerful bat, but a complete elite baseball package. He is a Gold Glove defender in center field, a position that, depending on the formation, can be a question mark for the Braves. His versatility, being able to play both center field and right field, offers Weiss invaluable tactical flexibility. More important than the defense is the offensive impact. The Braves desperately need to relieve the pressure on Ronald Acuna Jr.'s shoulders. Acuna, a generational talent, saw his WAR, wins above replacement, drained by having to carry the offensive burden amid the inconsistency of other veterans. Bellinger, as an elite left-handed hitter, would fit perfectly into the upper part of the lineup, breaking up the sequence of right-handed hitters and forcing opposing skippers to rethink their bullpen matchups. Imagine Bellinger, with his ability to hit the ball to all fields and proven home run power, right behind or right ahead of Acuna. This transforms the Atlanta lineup from good to terrifying, forcing pitchers to consistently face two MVP threats in succession. The projected $80 million is only the floor for a contract that could easily surpass $100 million depending on the competition. But for the Braves, this is the cost of reversing the 2025 narrative. It is the cost of returning to World Series contention. The free agent market is a game of patience, but for Atlanta, time is running out. The dynasty window is open, but it needs major reinforcements. The acquisition of Bellinger would be the clearest statement that the Braves do not accept missing the playoffs and are willing to pay the price of an MVP to ensure it does not happen again. The move to sign a slugger of this caliber, right after hiring a new skipper, signals an aggression that the National League cannot ignore. The stage is set. The crisis was managed with the coaching change, and now the solution is in Alex Anthopoulos' hands as he pursues Cody Bellinger's signature. The impact of this possible signing reverberates throughout the NL East, sending a message to the Phillies, Mets, and Marlins that the Atlanta Giant has awakened and is hungry. The Atlanta Braves' offseason is not being defined solely by the change of command in the dugout with the arrival of Walt Weiss. The true gunpowder of the overhaul resides in the free agent market and the search for a superstar who can, single-handedly, realign Atlanta's offense. The name echoing throughout the corridors of Major League Baseball is Cody Bellinger, a former NL MVP and World Series champion who, after opting out of his Yankees contract, positioned himself as the most coveted jewel available. The circulating value of $80 million is only the starting point for a contract that could redefine the franchise's offensive future, an investment that the Braves organization desperately needs to make to prove that the fall in 2025 was a mere accident and not a harbinger of decline. The urgency surrounding Bellinger is multifaceted. First, the inconsistency in offensive production from the outfield beyond Ronald Acuna Jr. was a determining factor in the 76-win campaign and the painful playoff absence. The offense needed a second elite driving force, especially one that hit from the left side of the plate. Bellinger offers exactly that: left-handed power and elite defense, a rare combination in the current market. His ability to play both center field and right field provides Weiss with unparalleled tactical flexibility. If Bellinger returns to his 2019 MVP form, or even replicates the solid OPS plus he showed in his last productive year, he will not only relieve the pressure on Acuna, but create one of the most feared duos in the National League. He is the protection Acuna never had in the batting order, forcing opposing pitchers to face the Venezuelan star with less caution. Analyzing the financial side and contract structure, the Braves, known for their astute and sometimes conservative payroll management, would have to break their own tradition to sign Bellinger. The amount of $80 million would not be enough for a long-term contract. We are talking about a deal that will likely exceed 4 years and could approach $100 million depending on the market madness. For a franchise that values cost control, this is a risky but totally necessary move. The Atlanta fan base is hungry for a title, and the disappointment of 2025 demands a resounding answer. Signing Bellinger is not just a talent acquisition, it is a declaration of intent to the entire MLB. The Braves are back in the game and willing to pay the luxury price. The negotiation will involve not only the total value, but also the opt-out clauses and the average annual value, AAV, which will be crucial for managing the competitive balance tax, CBT, in the coming years. In the context of the National League East, Bellinger's acquisition completely changes the calculus. The New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, and, more recently, the Miami Marlins are always active, but the addition of a batter of Bellinger's caliber offers a qualitative leap that instantly puts them ahead. Competition for the player, however, will be fierce. Bellinger's former teams like the Cubs and even the Yankees themselves may be interested in bringing him back, and other large markets like the San Francisco Giants and Boston Red Sox will also not stand idly by. For the Braves, the tactic must be aggressive and fast. They cannot afford to lose a high-caliber free agent at a position of critical need. Walt Weiss's window is now, and the new manager needs all the offensive firepower he can get. A detailed analysis of Bellinger's mechanics shows that he is a high-risk, high-reward target. At his peaks, he exhibits an explosive swing, an impressive ability to hit the ball to all fields, and defense that earned him a Gold Glove. In his valleys, he struggles with high strikeout rates and contact issues, especially against pitchers with varied repertoires. However, the raw talent is undeniable, and the Braves organization, known for its highly effective hitting coaching staff, is confident it can stabilize his production. They are betting on the recovery of an MVP, not just the signing of a good player. The negotiation is a litmus test for the new baseball management, which needs to demonstrate that it can close elite deals in the offseason. Losing Bellinger would mean having to resort to secondary targets, such as more defensive outfielders or slower power hitters, which would not meet the urgency and prominence that the fan base demands. This is the golden chance for Atlanta to re-establish its hegemony in the NL East, and the $80 million price tag is just the cost of the ticket back to the MLB elite. Time is running out, and every day without the contract signed is a day of anxiety for the Braves nation. This free agency or trade redefines the salary cap and the franchise's competitive window. The balance of power in Major League Baseball was rewritten overnight, a move that could be the difference maker for the next World Series. The ball is in the rival general manager's court. What will be the counter move? Now, your voice is crucial. Click the subscribe button immediately so you don't miss our daily coverage. Activate the bell for last-minute notifications and, at the plate, leave your comment. Tell me, was this a grand slam swing or a strikeout that compromises the future of the farm system? Thanks. Home Run Fan.